Imagine waking up in a behavioral facility, not knowing how you got there and when you will be able to leave. That's exactly what happened to Sybyr, the underground rapper who revolutionized rap metal and the underground community back in 2017. This is the story of Sybyr, the uncrowned king of the underground. But before getting into the topic, I'm Slop Critic and I make music-related content. So if you're interested in seeing something like that, hit that subscribe button and like the video. Chase Cawthon was born on September 6, 1996 in Prince George County, Maryland, in a Christian household where he claimed that his father was kind of excluded and he spent most of his time with his mother and brother. There, he was forced to go to church every single Sunday, even though he was questioning religion at the time. During school, he was bullied by other kids since he was kind of an outcast and mostly stayed to himself and was attracted to things such as YouTube and making music. He stated that he hated high school and it was a place for him mostly to wait to go home and make music.
Just like go home, make beats and shit. And then during school, I would just be in class, just like waiting to leave, like, cause it was like nothing for me to do there. Like I didn't really talk to people after school.
Around middle school, as he stated that he always had melodies or songs playing inside of his head, but had no way of actually making them yet, until he met his cousin Kid Beats, who introduced him to FL Studio. But despite finding the application, it wasn't until the next year when he became production. He explains this in September 2014 interview with Gold Bushido. I met my cousin Kid Beats in 2008 or 2009, and he actually told me about FL Studio. So I downloaded the demo and I was just staring at the screen. So many controls, right? I still attempted to make beats, but they sounded hopelessly shit in my ears. So I quit. 3 times, all in the same year, if not a little longer. I wasn't aware of tutorials or any help of any kind. I started enjoying it in 8th grade because that was my only medium for calming down. All the emotions from that hell found its way into the music, and that's what empowered me to keep going at it. Sybyr's debut vocal performance was released in 2012, in November to be exact, at merely 16 years old. Before he was Sybyr, he was known as Max 17. He was influenced by artists such as Waka Flocka Flame, Maroon 5, Gucci Mane, OJ's The Juice Man, and many early trap artists. And this was pretty evident during the Max 17 era. You could actually hear the influence.
When a bitch you try to be a gentleman, but all you women fucking hate me. There's no reason to date me. I'm too weird, I'm too crazy.
But before actually rapping, he was a producer, and you'll actually notice that a lot of his songs that are popular and just songs in general are actually produced by him under the alias Landfill. And during that producer era and early stages of making music, he was uploading his music on platforms such as SoundClick, YouTube, and Facebook, and he was a part of the producer communities on such websites. He used the platforms to collab with other users and promote his music at the same time. Around 2012, he created a music collective called Weird Musicians, and later in 2014, he actually renamed the collective to Weird Clan. Some original members of the collective were Kid Beats, his cousin, Leon's Wolf, Ghosty, and Myclo. Later, in 2015, he changed his name to Syringe and became one of the first artists to partake in the trap metal subgenre. He's often cited as the genre's most impactful innovator, combining hip-hop with chaotic production and distorted vocals. Sybyr's clothing preferences and appearance are oftentimes met with backlash due to his defiance of gender norms. He was seen wearing high heels, lipstick, nail polish, and platform boots on his social media accounts. And this sparked a lot of people to talk about him. And especially with his music being different. And just as a side note, his discography is huge. And this is because he released music for over a decade and he's been really consistent with it. Sybyr has released multiple projects that received widespread critical acclaim, including Anti-World, Hell Horse, and Shove These Colors Up Your Anus. All 3 bodies of work were released under his former alias, Syringe. I have to say that Anti-World is a really good album. Some of songs on that album that if you actually listen to them, you feel like they were really ahead of their time. Sybyr is known for experimenting with music. For example, if you listen to Hell Horse for the first time, you hear some songs that are really different than any other songs that you can find at the time, and especially these days too. But at the same time, they have songs such as Shoot the Party, which quickly became a fan favorite. Around that time, he actually released I Like Being Too, and that's one of his most popular songs to this day.
I like being broken in a world oh so distant. I like being fucked.
But on June 4th, 2017, Sybyr was reported missing by many of his friends, being last seen on June 2nd, 2017 inside Conference City, Denver. In an interview with Mask Gorilla, he told the story of how he went missing, what happened, and why he went missing. He described the situation by stating that it all started from consuming weed. He was in a hotel room where he smoked a blunt and Vicks chest rub while listening to music that was slowed down, and where he proceeded to destroy the room. After that, he went outside while half naked in a hoodie, where he was questioned by police officers, but after being impatient, he tried to get away but got tased. After that, he ended up in different hospitals and behavioral facilities for a whole month. Even though he was reported missing on the 4th, Sybyr believed that it was the 7th, as he spent most of his time on his computer until the hotel incident happened.
Don't know what exactly happened there.
Okay, so last year I had a very, very strong epiphany, but it was all on weed and shit. But what I did was I was in my hotel. I was just learning how to roll my own blunts and stuff. I had weed with me. It was lit. But as I was rolling up, I was already high from like days before. I was talking to everybody and shit. I was just slowing down music on my computer. I would just slow everything down to like the lowest tempo, the lowest pitch, smoke weed. I think I dipped one blunt in Vicks and like just the tip of the blunt and dipped it in Vicks. Smoked that shit and shit started going downhill. Like I trashed my hotel room by myself. Like I destroyed the mirrors and shit. I was talking to people telepathically. It was just all this psychic shit that was going on. And then I leave my hotel room like this, like just in the air, walking around half naked in my hoodie. I stopped the police car. The policeman went out and he just started asking me questions and shit. But the way it went down, it felt like so normal for them to deal with a person like that in that situation and shit. I expected just to be outed. But they were questioning me, yada, yada, yada. I'm tired of being questioned. I leave, they tase me. I'm still sitting on the sidewalk after that shit. And then the ambulance pulls up and I'm like, huh? And so I go from being around the police to being escorted to the ambulance. And so, but at that time, I thought it was like a little side project that was going on because it was like these 6 old white guys like trying to help me and shit. But I thought there were like 6 of my friends just like in different bodies. It was so fucking weird. And I was in I was just in hospitals and behavior facilities for all of June last year. Like the entire month of June, I was in hospital after behavior facility, after mental facility, after hospital, after behavior facility. It was just like a loop. And that's what happened.
And during that time, no one knew where he was, and the whole situation was worse because he didn't know any contact information for nobody while he was in a mental ward.
But during that process, no one knew where you were.
No one knew where I was. I stopped making contact with everybody on the 4th, but I thought that I was still talking to people till the 7th, and the 7th was when I just left my hotel. But that I remember the dates. It was just like, okay, the 4th. Everybody says the 4th is when I stopped talking to them. And since then, it was just like, what? No, I thought it was the 7th because I was just like on the computer the entire time until I left.
And when you say you put the blunt in Vicks, do you mean Vicks cough syrup?
I dipped it in the chest rub.
Oh,
the vapor rub, yeah.
Is that like a thing that people do?
That's not a thing. That should not be a thing. Don't ever fucking do that. Don't ever do that.
So have you...
He stated that randomly one day he remembered his mom's email, and that's how he got out of that situation. As he was reporting missing, everybody started talking about him and started listening to his music and became really popular. And while he made music under a bunch of names such as Syringe, Max 17, Leonido, and some that I can't really say, around this time he decided to stick to Sybyr after going missing. He also produces most of his instrumentals under the alias Landfill. Following his release from the ward, he went on a live to explain the situation. In the same live, he also explained why he changed his name, which created a really viral moment for him. This was mostly an inside joke for his community, though.
I changed my name because it was easier to look up. I changed my name because it was easier to look up. I changed my name because it was easier to look up. I changed my name because it was easier to look up.
And a very big contribution why he was missing was because he was not in the right headspace. He stated multiple times in songs and on the internet that he suffers from different mental disorders. And from what I understood, it's a combination of bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, allegedly. I don't know exactly to be sure, because in the same interview that he talked about going missing, he stated that growing up and until the incident, he hasn't shown any symptoms from what he knows.
And you were growing up in high school and middle school. Did you have any like behavioral problems, or there was like never a sign of anything?
It wasn't really a sign. I just didn't like doing all the fucking work and projects and like doing all the school projects and shit. Like,
right, but like some kids when they're in school and they're like acting out, like their parents are like, "Oh, we're gonna take you to the psychiatrist or something, and we're gonna put you on pills." You were just like a normal kid who didn't want to do his homework. Yeah. So this whole thing with you going missing was just completely like left field. It's never.
Just to emphasize how much ahead of his time he was, I want to talk about the following song. Even though it's not the best thing you'll ever hear, it's pretty interesting because it gives me Destroy Lonely vibes, and this is a really old song.
Come around, fuck the sound, just follow my voice out. You're never alone here, I'll by your side.
And this song was actually leaked by a hacker, so it wasn't probably as polished as it could be. If he tried to expand on this song, who knows, he would have created another genre, again. A few years later, after 2019, we saw Sybyr changing his sound from his rage-filled songs to a more groovy-oriented songs. While still having his signature synthy sound, it was kinda met with criticism by his cult following, as it was completely different from what he originally made. But he still had some new people that discovered his new style and were enjoying his songs a lot. He also stated in an interview with Cult Classic that he created the new sound since he wanted to experiment more. But some fans were not satisfied at all, with one saying that, "Man, Sybyr seems so lost and it upsets me because it's like he forgot what his prime values were. It seems he's trying to find a style nowadays, when in reality, he made his best music when it was a schizophrenic mess and everything was everywhere. He really needs to split up with this dude Shark Beach, no offense, but it's really nullifying his old sound. There's no energy in Sybyr's sound anymore, and he sounds so monotone, like he lost that energy. I wish he would just release the chaos for one album with no expectation, just like the old music. While his music sounds way more polished and refined, old fans still criticize him heavily. And there was this live that I saw a while back and I can't find it anymore, but he talked about why he actually quit, as the old music that he released in his past were hurting his mental a lot. While nowadays, if you look to any interview, he seems to embrace the trap metal sound. He didn't really do that back in the day. And he even released an album entitled I Don't Have to Scream Like That Anymore, Suck My Dick. And there's songs such as Not Letting Go But I Let Go, where he says, "Found the hustle now, I'm not letting it go. Found the music that I'm not letting it go. Needleheads, but it's time to let it go. Let's be honest, with the rage, I let it go." And again, even though I can't really find the video of him going live on Instagram and talking about why he changed his music style for reasons such as for his mental health, and does not want to be angry all the time or feel depressed in order to record the song that people will listen to, this is usually a big reason why some underground rappers quit or change their whole aesthetic. I also made a video about another rapper that found himself in a similar situation, and if you want to watch it, Click in the right hand side if you're interested in seeing something like that. He tried to revive his old sound back in 2022 with an EP under the name SS Syringe, but it was kind of a flop, and nowadays it's actually deleted so you can't listen to it anymore. Sybyr was one of the first artists to partake in the trap metal subgenre. He combined hip-hop with chaotic arpeggiated synthesizers and distorted percussion. He is often cited as the genre's most impactful innovator, and over the years, he has been called the most creative and unique rapper out there. Some even call him the favorite rapper of your favorite rapper, and some people, the uncrowned king of the underground. And while rappers like Scarlett or Zilokami overtook him in popularity during the time that trap metal was a thing, he still remains a vital piece in the puzzle, and it's pretty sad to see that once people try to create the art that they want, they're faced with criticism.